My focus right now is Sean Combs because he's a trafficker, most likely because he was victimized by his mentor, Clive Davis.
Rumor has it, allegedly, Diddy got on his knees for Clive Davis in 1994.
He got a boss too, and his boss name is Clive Davis. Clive run him. Diddy don't run himself.
Some people question how Diddy became so evil. Well, it turns out he's just like his mentor, Clive Davis. This creepy man taught Diddy everything he knows, how to use people, take advantage of their body, and dispose of them when they aren't worth any more money. Clive Davis is a sick man, and we are exposing him in this video, so let's get into it. If you aren't subscribed to the Let's Get Into It podcast, then you're only getting half the tea. For longer videos, deep dives, and of course, more of me, subscribe to the Let's Get Into It podcast listed in the description below. We're going to be talking about a controversial man who has caused a lot of chaos in the music industry. His name is Clive Davis, and a lot of you have requested that I take a deep dive into what he's been accused of. Now, Clive Davis is an American record producer and music executive. He's an older man. He was born in the 30s, actually 1932. Clive has had a significant impact on the music industry, having worked with numerous iconic artists and being responsible for signing many landmark musicians. He's won 5 Grammys, he's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so he's been around. In 2013, Clive actually came out as bisexual. At this point, he was 80 years old, and he revealed this in his memoir. And you know, there's not a lot of people in 2013 who's just really coming out, and then we've got this 80-year-old guy who's been around a ton of musicians who now announces he's been in a long-term relationship with a man, which I'm all about.
In your book, you reveal that you are bisexual. Why did you wait so long, Clive, to make that public?
I was only turning to bisexuality after my second marriage failed. When the marriage failed in the mid-'80s, I opened myself up to the possibility that I could have a relationship with a man, as well as the two that I had with a woman.
Now, there's a connection between Diddy and Clive. Back when Diddy was young, he was a vodka promoter. He really didn't have much of a career happening, but he wanted to start a record label. When he met Clive, Clive was rather established. So he was 23 and able to convince Clive to take hip hop seriously, and Clive actually funded him and helped Diddy build Bad Boys. It's actually speculated that Diddy and Clive were in a relationship based on how quickly Diddy's record label Bad Boys became successful. This person tweeted that Diddy was given his bad boy imprint by Clive Davis, who is openly gay. I mean, he says bisexual, but what Diddy had to do for riches is not uncommon for successful black men in entertainment and in politics. All that glitters is not gold. Run your race. Let the next man run his. Interesting. Now, a lot of people believe that Diddy is the way that he is. I mean, we've talked about him in countless videos at this point because of how Clive kind of groomed him to be this way.
My focus right now is Sean Combs.
Okay. Tell us why. Tell us why.
Because he's a trafficker. And he's using music and entertainment to traffic.
Now, is this just boys, girls, adults, kids? Like,
I mean, from what I've heard from sources that I would consider reliable, it really doesn't matter.
Wow.
I don't think something that has anything to do with gender at this point for Sean. I honestly think he's just an extreme narcissist who loves power. He loves the ability to manipulate and control people. Why? Most likely because he was victimized by his mentor, who loved to control people.
And his mentor was
Andre Harrell.
Tell us how
who was
he
mentored by Clive Davis.
Don't tell me that Andre Harrell got touched by Clive Davis too.
I'm telling you, I don't know what happened between Andre and Clive. What I do know is that Andre got passed over. Like, wow. How do you go from being the president of Uptown and losing your entire company to your intern?
So really what she's saying is that Diddy was Clive's favorite, and that's why he was immediately put onto this pedestal at a young age, really no experience, and now he's running everything. Now Diddy has honored Clive throughout the years, so they still maintain a decent relationship. In 2019 at the Grammys, he was quoted saying that Clive Davis and Arista Records gave him a chance when he was starting Bad Boy Records. He was one of the first industry executives to really believe in him and Diddy, and he's forever grateful for Clive.
Bad Boy Entertainment. I named it Bad Boy because I wanted to go against the grain. Anytime you go against the grain, they consider you like kind of bad. Nothing negative, nothing like hardcore. Just, I didn't want to be regular.
So Clive was ultimately impressed by Diddy's vision and decided to fund his project. He immediately took Diddy under his wing and they became the best of friends. And by best friends, I mean there are rumors that in 1994, Clive forced Diddy to do some intimate things to him to be his, mentee.
But he got a boss too, and his boss name is Clive Davis. Clive run him. Diddy don't run himself.
So, of course, all this talk about, Diddy has led to people talking about Clive. I mean, I genuinely believe that when you have been harmed, abused, you typically, or if someone is an abuser, they typically were abused themselves. Like, it's a cycle. Like, it happens to, someone doesn't just, they're not born doing this. It's kind of a learned behavior. It happened to them before. So if Diddy kind of operated in this mentality in this way, you must assume that he learned it from somewhere. But supposedly their relationship was more than just that. They went on to secretly date.
Now, rumor has it, allegedly, Diddy got on his knees for Clive Davis in 1994, and that's how Bad Boy Records came about.
This report claims that there's a over 500-page book filled with juicy behind-the-scenes stories of some of the best-known artists of our time. In Clive's book, there is over 500 pages filled with juicy behind-the-scenes stories. Some of the best-known artists are included, like how Janis Joplin suggested she perform a sexual act with him to seal their deal. Also how John Lennon offered him insight to the creative process. And he also addresses false accusations of embezzlement that ended his career at CBS. But there are also some deeply personal revelations. Remember, he comes out as bi in this book. He talks about the end of his 2 marriages, and in the final chapter, he discusses his sexuality. Clive claims for the past 20 years, he's had 2 male partners, a doctor for 13 years, and then somebody else for 7 years. Somebody he will not name or give any descriptor. So, I wonder who that could be. When pressed about why he doesn't name the men he's had relationships with, he said it is their privacy he's protecting, not his own. Clive said that he and his current partner share the same experiences as any other. They travel and attend industry events together, but he prefers not to reveal his identity. We have seen Clive and Diddy at plenty of events together. I'm assuming he's talking about the doctor in this situation, but it is interesting to see that he is really protective over this other guy. I mean, if he said rapper, we would all know, and he knows that. It's speculated that Clive taught Diddy to take advantage of a younger, up-and-coming artist. We see this in many cases, one of them being Christopher Williams. Now, Jaguar Wright claims that Diddy had a meeting with a singer named Christopher Williams about possibly signing a demo deal. The attorney needed to get approval for some paperwork and went into Diddy's office. Actually, this attorney walked into Diddy's office and saw that Christopher Williams was performing, I guess, a blowjob onto Diddy. She walked in and it was a surprising sight, but it didn't bother the lawyer as much as it embarrassed her. She played it cool until Diddy brought it up the next day. He was allegedly aggressive, asking her if she intended on telling anyone. When she politely asked him why he hadn't locked the door, he reportedly replied, "I'll do whatever the F I want to in my building. It's power, see? If I can make a man suck my D, I could make people do anything for money." Ooh, okay.
There was a young woman, beautiful woman. She's a lawyer, or at least she was. She used to be an entertainment lawyer while she was working at Bad Boy, because she was one of the lead counsels for Bad Boy Entertainment. She witnessed something that was disturbing to her. But what was really disturbing to her was the conversation that she had with Diddy after. Christopher Williams, Puff was supposed to be giving him a demo deal, and he gave him a demo deal, and I guess it was supposed to turn into an album deal, which that never happened. But this young woman walked in to get approval on some paperwork. When she walked in, the door wasn't locked, so she didn't think twice about just walking in. And when she walked in, she saw Christopher Williams performing fellatio on Puff. He came into her office and was like, "Yeah, so you came in there, so what? What you gonna do? You wanna say something?" And she was like, "Oh no, I just She was like, I just don't understand why you left the door unlocked. If you were in there doing that, why would you leave the door unlocked? He said, I'll do whatever the fuck I want to do in my building. And I just don't know. He was like, it's power, see? I can make a man, he said, if I can make a man suck my dick, I can make people do anything.
If I was that lawyer, I would feel so uncomfortable. I mean, I would want to quit, but I feel like if they were to quit, then like Diddy would go after them to try to keep his secret a secret. It's also speculated that Clive taught Diddy to take out anyone or any artist if needed. It has been alleged that Clive took out Whitney Houston to make way for Brandy. It's also alleged that he took out Left Eye from TLC. This behavior can be seen in Diddy with Kim Porter, Biggie, and allegedly Tupac. So I'm not trying to throw some accusations here, but I mean, I do feel like this industry is cutthroat. Literally. Now, I don't know what Clive Davis has to do with Whitney Houston and her death, but they claim the drug dealers were to blame. And she was at the Beverly Hilton when she passed away. It's actually coming up on the anniversary of Whitney Houston's death, which is a very sad time for everyone. But Jaguar Wright goes into detail about how Whitney was controlled by these people and was harmed by them on occasion. I mean, maybe even more than on occasion, like pretty often.
Leola Brown, Bobby Brown's sister, has said on several occasions that she was beaten. They saw her body. She didn't just die in a tub, like she was beat up. Oh, wow. Her and Clive had a fight 2 days before. And from what I was told, Bobby Christina was present for some of that fight. And then the next thing you know, she's dead. Ray J was the last person to see her alive. He let the drug dealer in, but she was sober, right? But he let the drug dealer in that gave her the shot. And Brandy was the one that found her. But you know, they pledge allegiance to Clive too.
It is interesting to hear that Brandy could have a role in this. It makes me want to dive a little bit deeper into what Brandy's involvement is, because 2 days before her death, Whitney crashed an interview and passed Brandy a secret note. It's speculated that Whitney was trying to warn Brandy that she was in danger. And here's a moment where she did pass her that note. Now, we've heard Jaguar Wright share a lot about these people. Actually, I wonder like how she feels safe in this whole situation, especially talking about Diddy and what he's been up to.
I'm sorry, I'm a little upset about it because Al B. Shore just came out of his coma, and I've been talking to Al, and we've been texting back and forth, and I'm just glad that he's alive to text. But when you think about Kim, I was thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, Al B. Shore, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Heavy D was found dead, face down in the heart attack. Andre Harrell, heart attack. Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. And then right after that, Al had a meeting, and I was going to meet up with him because we were in Vegas, and then the next thing you know, you want to know what they all had in common, though? The survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books.
It is really scary to see all those members die, and it's kind of a money game. I mean, you know, he doesn't want to share any of the power with anyone else, so he's gotten rid of all of them, and plus he doesn't want that book out. I mean, it's giving very much like, I mean, of course Justin Timberlake did not try to do this to Britney, but he was super worried about this book and tried to legally go after her book where she exposed him. And looks like, you know, Diddy takes a different approach. He like literally goes after them, and not in a legal way. Now, Biggie Smalls was killed in a drive-by shooting, which seems very convenient. And it turns out that Diddy and Clive Davis were really mad at Biggie for leaving Bad Boy Records. Maybe mad enough to, you know, pop one in him. I don't know.
Who you think was madder than a mother outside of Diddy? Clive Davis. Clive Davis is going to say, we need to have a discussion with that guy there. Because this guy right here took a multi-million-dollar deal elsewhere, and he got famous through Arista and Bad Boy Records. How do this make us look? Our artists that we developed took a multi-million-dollar deal to our competitors. They used to go around and kill people for a price.
The death of Biggie Smalls and Tupac and all those people are a whole other video. And if you guys want those, comment below. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye, guys.